Good morning, everybody. This is day 7. It is the final day of this week on the James Duncan diet, also known as lose 14 pounds in a week, also known as lose a stone in a week. It is all over after today. I am so glad because I am ready to be done with it. Hunger has not been an issue for me. No, but there have been other issues that I've had to deal with during the time. Were they related to the diet or not? I'm pretty sure the muscle fatigue is. Almost for sure. But it's been come and go here and there depending on what I've been doing. So when I've been at work, muscle fatigue has been stronger, more noticeable. When I've not done as much, less noticeable. When I have been to the restroom, has it been very noticeable? Yes, but not in the same way that Jevons has. There are different factors to what has been going on. The main thing is I'm just ready to eat certain foods that I have not been able to touch this entire week on. No milk-based products whatsoever during this week on. Very limited in terms of the breads and cereals category, all the carbs and all that sort of stuff. Very limited. So there's a lot of stuff there. Just the opportunity to be able to go back and go out and eat the same stuff that everybody else is, not have to be somewhere and then be like, oh, well, we want to go so-and-so, but it's like, oh, but you can't go because you're on your week on. It's like, thanks for reminding me. It's always those times that are the toughest. But we have this last day, and this last day, we're not doing fruit today of any kind. We are out of grapefruit. We have finished off most of the fruit that was needed, that we bought, but also we don't really have need for it because according to the schedule, we are going to be instead having stuff with eggs, and salad. So, for breakfast, let's get started. So, breakfast today, tomatoes, eggs, but it's a little different than what it has been. Of course, we're doing grilled tomatoes again, like we did on the first day, but it's going to be with scrambled eggs this time. So, we'll be doing them a little differently. Today's tea is going to be a berry aloe tea, skin reviving. Very interesting. So that's about 5 minutes for that. And so we'll get started with all this and see how it goes. Well, that was actually quite easier than I thought it was going to be because it happened really quick. And definitely make sure to do that way next time. So I've mixed the tomato and the eggs together. Have my tea for the day out. That's got a nice little flavor to it. I like that. That's pretty good. Now let's see how these tomatoes mix in with these eggs. Pretty standard stuff though, for the most part. Very nice. Should be a good breakfast. So, with this down, there'll be 2 meals left to go. After having a delightful little breakfast, now it's time for lunch, where we're having something very similar to what we just had, but in a different style. And this is going to be very interesting, in fact. So, we've got spinach, and we've got eggs. Again. This time, we're going to poach them. I've never poached before, which is going to be interesting. I do have the egg cooker, which has the ability to poach, and I am going to choose to utilize this. So, this is going to be interesting. Basically, it says you got the medium line, you just fill it up on the bottom of the medium line, and we have this little, not this one, where is it? Poaching tray We put our poached eggs, and we just cook it in here, and it's supposed to come out perfectly poached. Of course, I'm gonna have to obviously do something to make sure that it doesn't stick to that, but other than that, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Water will be my drink, and we'll get started with that, see how it turns out. Okay, plan B. Plan A, I made some mistakes, and so now I'm doing it the other way because this is the only thing that's available now. Alright, take two. This was much better looking. This one looks prettier than this one. I don't know, the yolk kind of missed the one side a little bit. I don't know why, but it's fine. It's just not as pretty. Well, let's see how the cut does. Yep, that looks pretty good. So we'll test that out, see how it goes. Should be fairly decent meal. Not much, but hey, that's what we got. And now it is time for the final meal of this week on. Salad, yes, once again. Not just any salad, but a familiar salad. Steak salad. And we'll be doing a little bit of mint style tea this time. Oh, I'm so ready. So ready. You just don't know. And here it is. The final meal. Seen this before. Not so much this one. Let's check it out. Good. Not very minty like I thought it would be. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. And salad. You know. I've had it before. Not much different. It's a decent meal. Do I seem a little tired? It was a productive day today. Got a lot done. I'm really ready to be off this now. You know, we've got through all the exotic stuff. We just had a repeater now for the last meal. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow morning when I can do some different things. Add a few things to other things that I can do too. Because I will do a salad soon again, but I'm going to do it with actual dressing. And I look forward to that too. But I'm really interested in getting some other foods and stuff in my body tomorrow. It's going to be really a thing I'm looking forward to. Especially since we're supposed to go to a restaurant tomorrow night. Certainly I'm looking forward to that, whatever restaurant it may be. And we'll see tomorrow morning how much I now weigh. Hey, my weenie. Chillin'. Well, we are up the next morning. We are concluded with the meals, obviously. Now, there's only one thing left to do is the weigh-in and to see what the result is. Once that's done, be through this completely. I will want to say, even before the results come in on this, no matter what the weight loss is on this, this is something that I will never do again. I did it for the purposes of this, and now that it's done, I'm done. I'm not doing this again. I didn't have the same issues that Jevons had, particularly with hunger. That was never really a big issue for me. But the muscle pains and other sort of issues that I had throughout the week, that I think, even if they weren't 100% because of the diet, they were affected by the diet. They may have been, made worse because of it. I don't know. But I am definitely ready. The fact of the repetitiveness of this diet, that you just eat the same stuff. It's not even so much eating the same thing, but it's eating the same things with missing ingredients in it. The salad with just lemon juice. Having no sense of being able to have any sort of cream or milk or cheese or pasta or any of that sort of stuff at all. Like, such limitations on what you can and cannot have. No seasonings, no jellies, stuff like that. That enhance so many of the foods that made them just plain. That's things that I'm going to be looking forward to having, more so than just having totally different things, but just being able to put stuff in my food and drinks and whatnot is probably the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to. I'll talk a little bit more about it once I check the weigh-in, but I just wanted to get that out of the way first. Also, day 7, just to recap the things, I had a lot of egg. There was a lot of egg. I was a little weary because of so much egg in one day. 4 eggs, and you got 2 for breakfast, 2 for lunch, and then there were 2 different types of eggs. The 2 for breakfast weren't too bad because it's just scrambled, but then you get 2 for lunch that I wasn't even too sure how well I did with it, and then it's just raw spinach with that. So wasn't, and then of course just the repeat on dinner. So day 7 was a bit of a struggle for me, and I'm glad it was the last day. So let's check the weigh-in. All right, the moment of truth. Let's see. 221.2. That's a 10.8 pound loss. Well, there you have it. Even with my modifications and the factors involved in it, I ended up losing 10.8 pounds this week. Not 14, which was the number that I was promised, but I got almost 11 pounds, which is more than Jevons, more than his wife, because she got 10, he got like 8.6 or something like that. So I went over that. So 3 factors that I put into play on this. Number 1 is my weight. I did weigh about 17 pounds more than Jevons, I think. So more to lose? Certainly. That could have very well played a factor. Portion sizes. I ate more, therefore I was less hungry during the week on. However, it was not a factor in how much weight I lost. The amount of food that I ate did not matter because I still lost more than him and his wife. And then the third one is the substitutions that I made in certain things. Primarily my pescatarian substitutions in the chicken and steak options specifically. Those did not change the results enough to where I actually ended up losing less weight. I actually ended up losing a fair deal amount. Maybe if I had not changed that and I was somebody that ate that food, maybe that extra 3 pounds would have come off. You don't know. But the fact of the matter is, I managed to lose a very large amount of weight. More so than the other people who tried it on the other series. And I did not have the meat. So going pescatarian, you can do this and lose a significant amount of weight. Now, I do not recommend that you do this because I'm telling you, you are going to deal with certain issues physically, even if you don't have hunger issues, because you can do it without getting that hungry. And if you have determination, like I did, to make sure that you get it done, you're still going to have physical issues. The muscle fatigue is real. I do not think it is worth it to have to deal with that every time you would do this diet. I would never do this again. I don't think it's a good diet to go for. I think only in cases of like absolute necessity, like you have to, it's like life or death sort of stuff, would that matter, that you should really look at doing something like this, because it's not something that is an approved diet. So there is no guarantees that there's not going to be some issues with this in the long term if you continue to try to do this, like once a month or something like that, which they say you could theoretically do. However, I am done with it, and now I am going to eat. And see, this is also another thing. You're only supposed to do it once every 3 weeks. I'm going to be eating. And I'm probably going to be eating with a little less filter than I normally would, at least for the first few days, because I am so eager to eat stuff. When you're on something this restrictive, when you're off of it, you tend to have a bit of a bounce back. So the question is, can I hold back on that bounce back? Not completely. I know that's not going to happen, but I'm going to tell you, if you want to be able to do something more sustainable, you've got to be able to do something that's not necessarily a diet, like a quick fix thing. It's something you've got to try to build towards. Some small decisions each and every day that you can build towards. You don't jump towards drinking like 6 sodas a day to saying, I'm not going to drink any sodas anymore. That is too much. You need to go 5, then once you've got that down, maybe try 4, 3, 2, 1, like that. If you want to work your way off it, get yourself used to something minor. That's the best way to do stuff. Slow, steady, gradual. Also, losing this much weight in 1 week is not always ideal anyway, health-wise. You would much rather just want to have like a gradual decline, not just like a sharp decline and then maybe a little bit of an incline and then another sharp decline again. It's just not healthy. So I'll see you next month on the next week on that I'll be doing, which will be a much more enjoyable diet, I'm sure of, because it's the one that I most wanted to do when I started this series. Now, excuse me, everybody. I'm having waffles. Blessings, everyone. Enjoy the adventure. Bye-bye.